and welcome to episode 83 of the Giddy Knits podcast. As always, I'm Helen and I'm coming to you from Dundee in Scotland, where I live with my husband Tom and my two boys, Arthur, who is 7, and Jasper, who is 4. Today is Sunday, 17th of January. The new year is flying by, isn't it? And this is my crafty podcast. For anyone that doesn't know, though I'm sure most of you do, and I wonder every week whether I need to keep doing this introduction. But for those of you that don't know, I am the dyer behind Giddy Yarns. Welcome. Hello and welcome. Hello to everyone that watches regularly. Thank you so much for coming back. And if you're new, then I hope you enjoy my little corner of crafty chaos. That sums it up pretty well, doesn't it? You are getting full lockdown look today, I'm afraid. Does anybody else get really bad skin when they're stressed and anxious? Yeah, my skin is appalling at the moment. My hair is, as usual, just scraped back, and I am in the comfiest, coziest jumper I own. So yeah, embracing the lockdown look. Right, what have I got for you this week? Let's start with, what have I got for you this week? Oh my goodness. I've got a little announcement section. I was going to talk about some make-alongs. I've got a few whips to share with you. No new cast-ons and no finished objects this week. And then a little bit of yarny goodness. And then I wanted to chat a little bit at the end about shop news, because I have got a shop update on Monday, which will be today, I guess, because the video will be up on Monday. Right, I'm going to put my cup of tea down, pop it on the windowsill, and announcements. So, as always, the Giddy Yarns make-along is continuing. It's ongoing with quarterly prizes. So, as long as you are knitting something or you finish something that uses 50% of my yarn, then you can enter it for a chance to win a prize every quarter. The next prize draw will be at the end of March. You can enter over in the Ravelry Group, and you can also enter using the hashtag on Instagram. My preference is that if you can enter in the Ravelry Group, that is a lot easier for me, but I understand that I know some people are having accessibility issues with Ravelry still. So if you can't enter on Ravelry and you can't use Ravelry at the moment, then feel free to use the hashtag on Instagram, and I will make sure that I add any new posts using the hashtag to my list when I draw for prizes. All the details of the hashtags and the Ravelry group and everything like that will be in the drop down box underneath this video, as well as all the show notes. I wanted to start a new make-along for February. I feel like we want something for February. So I thought I would start a little make-along. It works from now because of the theme, which I haven't told you yet, so that doesn't help, does it? Right, make-along. We are going to start a make-along. We will start it now. It is going to be called Wrapping Up Those Whips. And the idea is that you finish up a project of some kind that you cast on in 2020. The only requirements are that, firstly, your entry has to be a finished object. Secondly, your project has to have been cast on in 2020. I've got no requirements as to how much of it or how little of it you've done. Just as long as it was cast on in 2020 and it is a current work in progress, then it's absolutely fine. I will say it needs to be a decent sized project. So it needs to be sort of a pair of socks or a pair of mittens up, if that makes sense. But that's it. Any yarn at all that you've used, whether you're knitting it or crocheting it, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, as long as it is a work in progress that you started last year, then that's brilliant. It will run until the end of February. So you've got a good month and a little bit to get it finished, and I will do prizes. I will pop a Ravelry thread over in the Ravelry group, and again I will pop finished object thread and a chatter thread over there, and again we will use a hashtag for Instagram in case you can't enter on Ravelry. And that hashtag will be, do you know what? I think I'm just going to keep it with wrapping up those whips, and I'll put that on the screen. If that hashtag has already been used on Instagram, then we'll make a change. In fact, we'll probably make it wrapping up those whips, MAL, for make along at the end. So hopefully that will mean that it's not been used on Instagram before. But anyway, I will pop it on the screen. So whatever it is that I have decided to do will be on the screen. And obviously links and everything to the Ravelry threads and details about the hashtag and everything will be down below in the drop down box. And I will be drawing an FO prize from the FO thread and also the Ravelry FO, the Instagram FOs. And I will also draw a chatter prize, because I know some of us have got really big works in progress that we haven't finished, and we may not finish by the end of February. So come and join, come and chatter, show your progress, and yeah, I will draw some kind of prize from the chatter thread. I haven't worked out what the prizes are going to be yet. I need to do that at some point, and I will show you those next week. But it'll be some kind of yarny prize. Right, what else? That's it. That's the idea for the new make-along. I was going to say that we'll start it in February, but actually, to be completely honest, if it's going to be works in progress, then that's not an issue, is it? So we will open it now. We'll start it now. It'll run until the end of February, but we'll start it now. Right, should we talk about some knitting? Right. As I said, no finished objects this week and no new cast-ons this week. But I've got a little bit of progress to share on a couple of projects, and then quite a decent amount of progress to share on a project you haven't seen in a while. Let's start with my Advent wrap, my Cupid's Arrow wrap, which is living in this lovely project bag from Craft House Magic. It is a Christmas project bag, and I know it's not Christmas anymore, but in my mind, this is an Advent wrap that I cast on during Christmas. So it is a Christmas project. So it needs to stay in its Christmas project bag because it's a Christmas project. So that's how I'm justifying still using my Christmas project bags. Right, so this is my Cupid's Arrow wrap, which again is also a pattern by Ellie of Craft House Magic. And I have made some progress, not masses of progress, but some progress. I am now on colour number 5, I think. Whoops, I'm just dropping it. Here we go. So you can see the first 2 colours there, third colour, the 4th colour, which I think I had just started last week. And then I'm just going into the 5th colour, which is this bright pink. So this is the colour that I'm now working on. The yarn I'm using is the Spectrum Fibres Advent Calendar, which was an Advent calendar that I purchased for 2020. And I have rearranged them into a kind of rainbow, starting with the purples and ending on the blues, to create this wrap. So I'm really enjoying it. The pattern is fantastic. As I've said before, I am leaving out the lace sections in the pattern and I'm just doing it in garter stitch. But that makes it so easy. It is, I don't need to pick the pattern up anymore. I literally am just able to pick it up and knit on it and put it back down again, and it doesn't really matter. But yeah, it's coming on really nicely. I'm really enjoying it. But I've also been working on my other Christmas cast on, which was my kind of blend of Christmas and autumn. It's the Autumn Adventures socks. And again, it's living in a Christmas project bag because it was a Christmas cast on. So the project bag and the yarn are from Debbie at Down Sheepy Lane. I've mentioned this before. I bought these as a kit specifically for my Christmas Eve cast on. And this is where I'm at. Where am I at? Let's have a little look. You'll see the yarn. What am I doing? I don't know. You'll see the yarn as I'm knitting it. But as I said, it's from Debbie at Down Sheepy Lane. You've seen it before. It is the Cozy and Joyful colourway. And it's so pretty. There you go. If I show you that side, you'll be able to see the colourway a bit clearer. I've got little stitch markers on just to mark my progress on the leg. And the pattern is the Autumn Adventure Socks, which is by Jessie Marie Makes. And it is, you can see a lot better this week because I've very, very nearly finished the leg of the first sock. So as you can see, it's just a really, really simple textured, kind of a textured rib pattern, I think I would call it. It's so clever and so pretty. It's a 2-row repeat, so it's really, really simple to memorize, and it's really effective, and I'm really enjoying how it's knitting up. I'm doing the pattern just on the front of the leg, and then the back of the leg is just plain stocking stitch. And yeah, that's it. I did a 2x2 rib at the top, and I'm very nearly, I think I'm 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I'm thinking of doing 60 rows for the leg, and then I've got 20 rows for the rib, so that should balance out, and then I'll be ready for the heel. So I'm only, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 3 rows away from this one being ready for the heel. I am knitting them concurrently. In fact, somebody asked about these. These are DPN cozies. They're usually known as DPN cozies. I use them for circular needles as well. This one, in fact, both of these ones actually are from Elliot Craft House Magic. And it's just literally a little pouch with poppers on the inside. And then what I do is you just put your sock in. See if I can do it so you can see. You just put your sock inside like that. And then you popper under the needle. And the same here. I just pop the cable the other side of the needle, popper it under the needle. And then what it does is it has this kind of 2 effect, I guess. Firstly, it stops your stitches from coming off the needle because obviously the popper is in the way of the stitches falling off the end of the needle. And it also means that if, like me, you're using higher sharps or kind of quite pointy needles, it stops your needles from puncturing through your project bag, or when you go in to get your knitting out, puncturing your hand. So they're really, really handy. I find them great if I'm working socks concurrently as well, because it makes it a lot easier for me to just, they don't get as tangled up basically. But yeah, that's a DPN cozy or a needle cozy. Traditionally, I think they were designed for when you're working with DPNs, but they work just as well if you're working magic loop. So that was the first one. And then the second one, I've not made much progress on at all, but I will get this one to the point of putting the heel in before I start the heel on the first one, so that I kind of keep them both up to date. But yeah, just so you can see that it's there and it exists. So those are my Autumn Adventures socks. And yeah, I'm really, really enjoying the pattern. It's working quite well for when I'm sitting with the kids doing homeschooling. I say the kids, Jasper. Jasper is just getting shoved upstairs. He is either being sent to his bedroom, sounds horrible, doesn't it, to play with his toys, or he's watching TV in our bedroom while I help Arthur with homeschool, which is not ideal, is it? But we're getting there and it's all going okay. Right, that's that one. Yeah, that's that one. Okay, next project. I have dug out a really, really long-term whip that I haven't worked on in absolutely ages, and it has taken up most of my knitting time this week because I have got obsessed with it again. It's living in this lovely bag from Jem at the Little Grey Girl, and it's not actually on any needles at the moment. But this is my Vertices Unite. I'll share it first and then I'll share the yarns. So last time I shared this with you, let's give you a bit of a sense of the whole thing first. I can't actually see what I'm showing you. There we go. It is massive. I'm knitting the large size. It's the Vertices Unite pattern, which is a pattern by Stephen West. And the last time I showed it to you, I had knit, this is section 1, which I had done, and I had done section 2. And I was roughly where, oh no, I wasn't, because I've moved the stitch marker. I was just kind of at this point, this middle point. I can't hold it up and show you at the same time. Right. I was just kind of here, I think, roughly, last time I showed it to you and last time you saw it. So I have finished this section here. And I have also finished this section here. It is a really, really interesting construction. And I saw this ages and ages ago. I can't remember exactly whose it was that really made me want to knit this pattern. But I've seen it on various podcasts. I've seen various people with them. I know Ellie Craft House Magic knit one and I loved hers. And I can't remember who the other person it was that I'd seen had knit one. No, I can't remember now, but it is, yeah, I was terrified of it for ages, but actually it is so simple. And as with a lot of Stephen West patterns, everything is really, really well explained. And if it isn't really well explained, then he usually has tutorials that you can see as well. But yeah, it's coming on really well. I've only got 2 sections left to do, and none of them are as big as this. None of them are massive. So let's talk about the yarns, shall we? So I'm using 5 different yarns. So the first section uses 2 yarns striped together, and they were these 2. And this is Bramble by Down Sheepy Lane. And this one is Jelly of the Month, I think it was called, from Suburban Stitcher. And then the second section, this section here, again uses 2 colours striped together. And I am using these 2 colours. So this is Geralt, however you want to pronounce it. It's of Rivia. It's the Witcher inspired colourway from Down Sheepy Lane. And this one is, I think it was called Hold On Tight. And it was part of Debbie, again, Down Sheepy Lane's Tim Burton Club. And this was inspired by Miss Peregrine's School for Peculiar Children. And then the final colour, which is this section here, just uses this colour, is this one, which is a Nora George Yarns, and it's called Grurple. It's really, really pretty. Yeah, and you can see this section here is the Hold On Tight colourway on its own. And the next section that I'm going to pick up, I can't remember what colour it uses now. Should we have a look? The next section is section, done that one. Oh, it's that one. So it uses colours A and C. So it's using Bramble. Oh, it's using these 2 colours together. I think it's quite an unusual combination, but I think it's going to look really, really good. So yeah, I'm excited to get that picked up and carry it on. So there are only, look, if I show you the big picture, so this is the picture, this is what it looks like. So I've done this end first. You start at this end. This is section 1, which is my pink and white striped. This is section 2, which is the blue and green striped. This is section 3, which was the Grurple colourway. And then this is the little 4th section that I've done, which is in the blue colourway. So the next section is this striped one here. And then the final section will be this one here. And then it has an I-cord bind off all around the outside of the pattern. And as I said, I'm knitting the large size. So I was aware it was going to take me quite a while to finish. But it did get put aside for quite a long time with other projects basically coming to the fore, I guess. But it is getting there, and I really can't wait to have it finished. It's going to be so big and cozy. I mean, it's a decent size for a shawl already, isn't it? It's not even finished. But it is so squishy. Yeah, a pattern I would really recommend. Right, that's kind of all the knitting I've got to show you this week, I'm afraid. But I do have a little bit of yarny goodness and a quick slurp of tea. And then I was going to talk about a bit of shop news. Put my tea back on the radiator. It might stay warm. I picked up a skein of yarn. A friend of mine was having a de-stash, and in her de-stash she had a few skeins of self-striping yarn. So I picked up this one here from her. So this is London House Yarns, and it's the colourway Merry and Bright. It's a merino nylon sock yarn, and it comes with the little 20-gram mini. There we go, I'm trying to work out which way up it is. Merry and Bright. So it is a Christmas colourway, but I want to knit more self-striping socks this year. It's one of those things that I haven't knit as many of, and I really would like to knit more self-striping, and not my self-striping, kind of other people's self-striping, just to enjoy. So I couldn't resist when I saw that, and she very kindly included some little minis as well. 3 lovely pretty little minis. So they will go in various blanket projects, I am sure. So thank you very much for those. And that's it. I have signed up to a couple of mini yarn clubs. So I've signed up to Arian of Henny Penny Makes is doing a colour therapy. Is it colour therapy mini skein club? You've got various options of what you can choose, and January was pink, and I really like the idea of getting it and creating. What was I going to do? I was going to do a pinwheel scrap blanket with those, which is a pattern by Mina Phillips of Knitting Expat, and I like the idea of having kind of all the pinks in one pinwheel, and then yeah, so that'll be interesting. And then I also ordered some minis, I think, from Laura at Crafters Balm or Bumbling Yarns as well, because she was having some Doctor Who themed minis for her Scrappy Club this month. And I love a bit of Doctor Who, so why not? So yeah, those should be coming towards the end of the month, which I'm excited about. I'm feeling really reinvigorated with my knitting. I'm not sure if it's sort of that whole January thing and kind of now Christmas is over, having kind of maybe more time. I don't know that I've got more time. I don't know, but I'm just really enjoying my knitting time at the moment. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm looking down at my show notes. Have I showed you anything? Everything? Have I showed you anything? Not really this week. There's not a lot to share. Shop update. I have quite a bit to share for the shop update. So, you may know if you follow me on social media, if you get my newsletter, etc, etc. But I am having a shop update on Monday, which is the 18th of January. It will be at 8 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. And it is mostly a Winnie the Pooh themed shop update, because Monday the 18th of April is officially Winnie the Pooh Day. I am not 100% sure why there is an official Winnie the Pooh Day, but there is, and I discovered it last year. And I just thought to myself, I love Winnie the Pooh. I grew up with Winnie the Pooh. It was my grandma's absolute favourite. She loved everything that A.A. Milne did, all of his poems and things as well. And I grew up with Winnie the Pooh, and it played a massive part in my childhood. So I couldn't resist. And last January, I launched my Winnie the Pooh collection. That's what I'm trying to say. Which consisted of the Winnie the Pooh minis, which, did I bring a set of the Winnie? I did bring a set of the Winnie the Pooh minis over, which are these ones here. So there are 5 minis in the bundle, and each one is a different character. And these have been so popular this year. I can't even, amazingly popular. So I have dyed up another batch of these for the shop update this weekend, but then what am I talking about? Not this weekend, Monday. But then what I've also done for the first time is I've taken each of the minis and I've dyed them up as full skeins. So you can get Winnie the Pooh. Show you it a bit more clearly. My camera's deciding to focus. There we go. You can get Rabbit, which is that one. I was really pleased with how these came up on the full 100-gram skeins. You can get Piglet, which is that one, although that mini's obviously got the speckles hidden. But this is Piglet. You can get Eeyore, which is this one. This is my favourite. I love Eeyore. I'd quite like a garment in Eeyore, actually. And then finally, you can get Kanga and Roo, which is this one here. Again, this is one of my favourites too. I really like this one. So they will all be available as 100-gram skeins. Now, with lockdown and homeschooling and everything like that, I've only dyed up a limited number, and I've only dyed them up on my merino nylon base. But what I'm going to do is I am going to pop up some dyed to order listings at the same time as the shop update. So if you wanted a particular character, but you wanted it dyed up on one of my other yarn bases, you could do that. If you're looking for kind of a sweater's quantity of one of the colours and I don't have that much in stock, then again you can do it dyed to order and I will dye it up for you, not a problem. I've dropped Piglet on the floor. If any of them sell out, then again the dyed to order listing will be there, so you can order them. The dyed to order listing will be, I'll be putting in the listing approximately 3 to 4 weeks. Realistically, I'm hoping that they'll ship in 3. I've got the clubs to dye up next week, and possibly the week after. They've been really popular, so it'll probably be 2 weeks or so before I can actually get to dyeing up the dyed to order. But yeah, I'm going to make it an option so that they're a lot more accessible. I will also be leaving the dyed to order up sort of long term, if that makes sense, so that colourways can be a bit more accessible to people if they want them at other points during the year. So yeah, so that's those ones, those 5 new ones of those. And then I've also dyed up a brand new colourway, and this is called Honey and Acorns. And it is this one here. I've dyed this up on a few more bases. So I've got this one on BFL nylon. Stop focusing on my face and focus on the yarn. BFL nylon. I've also got it on Stellina. And then finally, I've got it on merino nylon as well. And again, I'll do the same. I'll pop this up as a dyed to order as well, so that if it sells out or if there's not a base that you're after, then you can always do it dyed to order and get what you want. So that's all the Winnie the Pooh stuff. And then there's just a couple of other things. So I've also dyed up another gradient bundle, which this time it is my blue gradient, which are not in gradient order there, but they are that way. There we go. So again, you get the 3 semi-solids and the 2 subtle speckles in there for the gradient bundle. These were originally released in 2019, I think. I did a different colour every month. And they were always very popular. And I just thought this year I'm just going to bring them back every so often. So probably once a month I will add a new colour to the shop. I did the red gradient last month, and which was last year technically, but I did the red gradient in December, and I'm going to do the blue gradient in January. So I've got a batch of these added to the shop as well. And then the final thing I've got is some spare Christmas Eve box colourways. This is the Christmas Eve box colourway. This was Land of Sweets, inspired by the Nutcracker. I've got it on DK as well. And finally, I've got it on Merino Bamboo. And I've got 2 Merino Bamboo sock sets. So it's got the pink mini that comes with it. I've got 2 Merino Nylon sock sets. And then I've also got 2 skeins of BFL. Not BFL, of DK. It's a Merino DK. So I will be popping these in the shop just up as they were spares left over from just from batch sizes, basically. Meant I ended up with a few spares left over. I have also got a ton of the pink minis left over. And my plan this year is to actually end up with quite a few mini skeins in the shop. I want a lot of single minis that you could pick for heels and toes and stuff like that. So every time I dye the Once Upon a Time Club, the mini skeins that are left over from dyeing the sock sets will get added to the shop at some point as well. So hopefully there will be minis in various different bases, because I've got some Merino Bamboo, I've got some Stellina, I've got some BFL nylon, and I've got some merino nylon. So these will all get listed up in one listing, and then you just pick the base. but they'll be perfect for kind of heels and toes and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that's it. There we go. So yeah, shop update is on Monday, and that's about it. Club listings have closed now. I will be dyeing them up. The next month will open up on the 1st of February, but I'll talk to you before then, and hopefully in the next week I'll get on with a bit more knitting. Yeah, hope you're all well. Hope you're all coping okay with lockdown 2.0, 3.0, depending on where you are. It's lockdown 2.0 in Scotland because we didn't have one in November, but I know that in England and Wales, actually, I'm not sure about the rest of the UK. I know that in England and Wales you had lockdowns before Christmas as well. So I know some people are referring to it as lockdown 3.0, and I've got no idea with regards to the rest of the world. But anyway, I hope you are all okay. I hope you are all finding a little bit of time to get some knitting and crafting and things like that done. And I will be back next week, hopefully with a little bit more knitting progress, for another little crafty chat. So I will see you all then. Thank you very much for watching. Bye.